Hello, I'm Doug Muzzio. This is City Talk. It's Yankee Talk. It's baseball talk. It's my seemingly annual winter of my discontent sports fans talk. The Yanks are probably going to miss the playoffs again. The Mets as usual. At least the Mets are on the way up. Yanks, I think they're on the way down. So forget about next year and the year after, and maybe the year after that. The Giants and the Jets, awful. Not a complete football team between them. The Knicks, the worst in a couple of generations. Rangers, Nets. Give me a break. Here to talk baseball, Yankees. Yankee baseball is Yankee Beat sports writer for the New York Post, George King III. George, welcome. Our third annual can't wait for pitches and catches talk. Let's start with A-Rod.
Well, you could spend the whole summer talking about it.
We could spend it, but let's set up his spring training return. What happens? I mean, do they send him on every bus to every B game and wear him out, or what are the possible scenarios?
Well, you're showing your age. There are no more B games.
Oh, God.
But
Go ahead.
what they're going to have to do, in all fairness, is they're going to have to see if he can play, if his hips and his body will hold up.
Right.
So instead of basically the veteran players play at home and on short road trips, he's going to see some places in Florida he hasn't seen in a long time. And it's not punishment. It's not, they're mad at him for all the nonsense he pulled, suing them and the doctor and everything. It's simply they got to find out if he can hold up. He's got two bad hips. He's going to be 40 in July. He's played 44 games in the past 2 seasons, which they tell you, you forget how to compete. They're going to have to find out if this guy is healthy enough to play and help them.
So he will be doing road trips, but not for the reason that I speculate. Makes perfect sense what you're saying.
They need, I mean,
Okay, so he doesn't play third base. Headley plays third base. He's got a DH.
That's right now, that's the spot for him.
But there's so many players on the bench that are going to DH. This is a tough one.
It's the elephant in the room. I mean, they need DH days for Beltran. They've needed DH days for the catcher McCann. They've needed Teixeira to hit there a little bit. And if you have one regular DH, which they've tried to stay away from the past couple of years, Beltran got hurt last year, couldn't play the field. They would rather not have one guy tied up at the DH spot. But having said that, he's owed $61 million for 3 more years. And if he can hit, he can help.
Right.
If he can hit.
Right.
We don't know if he can hit.
Right.
We don't know if he can play.
Right.
So that makes spring training a little more important.
He hasn't played, but he truly was one of the two, I would argue with Bonds, gifted ball players of his time. Does that matter at all? Could he come? I don't know. We'll see.
We're going to find out.
We'll see. Winter meetings. You're back from the winter meeting. What are the winter meetings like, number one, in terms of, show? And then number 2, who came out of the winter meetings best?
What it is it's a meeting of every aspect of everything in baseball. Marketing, trainers, equipment people, and then you have the 30 teams, then you have the media, all under one roof for 5 days.
It's a zoo.
A lot of beer drinking, yeah. There's a lot of socializing, there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of bad rumors, there's a lot of bad stories. It's getting to know people. It's about a day long. If it was cut down to 3 or 4, it'd be fine. But after you get tired of talking to people, tired of looking at people.
What do you learn?
Well, you learn, more than you learn is what you develop.
Okay.
You develop relationships. These people turn over.
Yeah.
The general manager here is not here anymore. So
Sure.
You don't see him. So maybe you see him in the lobby and you introduce yourself. And you learn maybe what the Yankees are doing from some other organization.
Sure. Sure. And being from the Post, I would think that you would have entree and cachet that other papers would not.
Well, you're all in the same. I mean, you're all in the same lobby. It's just a matter of how aggressive you want to be. And
Okay, so it's really personal style of reporting, et cetera,
Right.
as well as relationships.
we're all there. It doesn't
Yeah.
make any difference what paper you're from.
Okay.
And who came out the best?
Lots of stuff happened. I mean, the Dodgers, and then the
I say
Billy
the,
Bean went crazy.
I say the White Sox.
Yeah, I think so too.
They added David Roberts.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Excuse me. They added that. What's wrong with the Yankees? Why did they let
that one
Robertson
puzzles
go?
me. That puzzles me. Joel Sherman put this perfectly in a column when he left, that it's going to be harder to replace the guy who replaced Mariano Rivera than it was to replace Rivera.
I agree. But
It's perfect logic, and that one puzzles me. And I don't know. They were going to offer him 15.3 as a one-year deal.
uh-huh.
And he'll never admit it. Maybe he wanted to go. Maybe he just didn't want to stay here. And maybe they knew that. They didn't offer him anything.
I
They never
know.
made him
It
an
was like
offer.
Cano.
Yeah. Well, they made Cano.
No, they did.
but-
I mean, it was somewhat
there's-
similar, but nothing.
There's things around this one that just don't make sense.
Yeah, because from a standing on the mound in the ninth inning, he did it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna, and who replaces a guy where the save is almost a gimme? He's not Rivera, but he's good.
Well, if you just want to go by stats, which people can and cannot, he blew 5 last year. Rivera in his final year blew 7. Now that's all depending on other things too. You can't.
Right.
But nobody ever said, boy, Mo would have done this, Rivera would have done that.
No.
You never heard Mariano's name.
No, because he did what he was supposed to do.
Now he's gone. There's a big hole there. Huge.
Huge. So
that
it's not only now who closes, who pitches the 7th and the 8th. I
Well-
mean, the whole thing gets screwed up. I
think-
don't know.
I think the wild card they have there, and he might be better eventually than both the other guys, is Adam Warren.
You think
I
so?
really like Adam Warren.
You've seen him?
I think he's at the same spot that David Robertson was at the same age.
How many years away is he?
He pitched. He was there all year last year. He had some hiccups late.
Yeah, no, I don't mean there. I mean in the spot.
He might be there.
Right
His stuff
now.
is that good.
Okay. Before we go to the full Yankees, we got to do some Hall of Fame stuff. Last year's conversation about the Hall of Fame was one of my absolute favorite BS baseball conversations ever. So you've got a January 6th announcement. You've got a vote. You had a ballot. Have you cast it?
Oh yeah,
It's already in. It's going to be announced on the 6th. Okay, some questions. I know. I tell me when you can't answer or won't answer the question. Did you vote for all 10 positions?
Yes, all 10, which is rare.
Yeah.
This is rare, but there's a lot of people coming in that are first ballot people.
Yeah, you know what? I've got the list. There is an extraordinary list of ball players.
Johnson, Pedro, and Smoltz are first time on it.
Yeah.
And they're all getting in. In my mind, they're all getting in.
Smoltz definitely.
I mean, what he's done as a starter.
No, I agree. And I think Biggio also makes it because, come on, we had 74.8.
There's. So
You've got some real talent on this ballot. I mean, we've already talked about the juicers, and we'll mention them again in that whole issue. But what about Piazza? I mean, this is. I don't quite get this.
he's a Hall of Famer.
Without question. And, he can't be, how's he tied with the juicer stuff? I don't get it.
It's
this
all
is
part of that
grossly
era.
but I think this is grossly unfair.
Well, you could probably make the same argument for Bagwell. He's been tarnished by.
Yeah, that's true.
The same
That's true.
thing
I don't
that
think
Piazza
Bagwell is as good as
Piazza.
was as a
'Cause
catcher.
He played different positions.
Yeah, different position.
But he seems to be scarred by the same thing.
Yeah,
that
that's
Piazza's
exactly
being scarred
right.
by.
That's exactly right.
And that's kind of taking a leap, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's awful.
Yeah.
In fact, that particularly for those two. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame catcher. One of the
he's
best hitting catchers ever. Maybe not the best defensive catcher, but come on.
He's a Hall of Fame catcher.
He is.
Yeah. And it's.
And then talk about those who have been tarred with the use of juice.
This can go.
I know.
This is like A-Rod. We could talk until we talk.
I know.
I think what you have to do as a voter, you have to look at each player, and then you decide. And then you decide if there's a moral problem with that. And I'll give you a perfect example.
Right.
Enough people have thought Rafael Palmeiro didn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. He's no longer on the ballot. And here's a guy with 500
And he would have been eligible to be on the ballot?
He's off the ballot now. He didn't get enough support over the years.
Ah.
You don't get 5%, you get off.
That's right. I forgot.
And he's off. And he is 500 plus home runs, 3,000 hits, Gold Glove first baseman. He doesn't even get on the ballot anymore. You can't vote for him anymore. He's gone. So there is a significant penalty for having been involved in all this stuff.
Right.
I think out of the people that are, involved in all this,
Right.
I think eventually Clemens and Bonds have the best chance of getting in. I'm not saying they get in, but they have the best chance.
I agree, because both of them were superstars before they started using. Bonds was the best.
The problem there is we don't know when they started using.
Yeah, but
Did
if
they use it in college?
see, there's no evidence of that. If you go by what's available in the evidence, you're right. You really don't know, so the statement isn't, certain. But if you guess that Bonds starts around 1998, I know.
Yeah, well, we don't.
I don't know.
I'm not talking about Clemens and Bonds. I'm talking about all the players.
No. I understand what you're
Because
saying.
the argument that, he started in 99, he had 450 home runs before 99, we don't know. And if you go by what happened in court, they still haven't used.
That's true.
Neither one was found guilty. So
That's true.
when does it all start?
Okay.
When did Canseco start?
Okay. I'll grant you those two.
The other guy's numbers are going down. Sheffield's on the ballot for the first time this year.
Right, but he ain't going to make it.
He's not going to make it this year. He's one of the best players of his generation, easily.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Manny Ramirez before, he's Manny Ramirez-like. And he's not going to make it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, this guy
That's
could
true.
play.
But I don't. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
going to be an interesting case. He's got 500 home runs.
Yeah.
He's got a handful of home runs more than McGriff.
Right.
Who's not going to make it.
Yeah, you know what?
But he's a better player than him.
Yeah, I know. But McGriff was really a superior ball player. Is he a Hall of Fame ball player? I don't know. Mark McGwire. No.
No,
No.
his total goes down every year. And you know what? I think there's more to that than being linked to steroids.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he has a lot of home runs, 5, whatever. He's got 1,700 hits. I mean, it's not like he's Bonds or A-Rod.
And he's terrible. He's close to a terrible. He's a, barely adequate first baseman.
Right.
And then he's a designated hitter. Come on.
Edgar Martinez. And I will tell you this, I don't vote for Edgar Martinez. I'll give you one
Yeah.
thing. I don't vote for Edgar Martinez because for a long time, he never brought a glove to the park.
Yeah.
I think you got to be a Hall of Fame player. You've got to have a little bit on the other side of the deal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know David Ortiz is putting a Hall of Fame career together, and Molitor's last years were as a DH. But I think you got to play on the other side too.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay. Okay, let's get to the Yankees. Last show, which was before the season began, you said that no meaningful games in the Bronx, and you were worried about the pitching. You were right. The pitching, and particularly the health of the pitching, just broke down. But there were other ones. Another call, to give you a couple more kudos, was Ellsbury, where you said it's very much up in the air and not much better than Gardner, and why didn't you do a little bit something else? So I think certainly given the year that he had in 14, you were right.
I mean, they both hit in the 260s. And they had Gardner for last year at $5 million, and they went out and they got Ellsbury. Now, he played good. I'm not saying Ellsbury didn't play good. And he did. He was banged up the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
His batting average took a dive. He's a good player.
Yeah, but
Is he an all-star every year player?
no, not at the money.
Not at
No.
not at the moment. And they're tied up for a long time with him. Is he better than he was last year? Maybe.
Let's hope.
But they have the other guy for a phenomenal amount of less money, and he's almost the difference is not that big.
Not at all.
Between him and Gardner.
Absolutely not.
So, but they're not. He's not their biggest problem, Ellsbury. There's still a lot of problems.
Oh no! I mean, yeah, well, let's just do it fast. Let's go through 2 through 9. Catcher.
He's got to be better than he was.
He was supposed to be a savior of sorts. Nothing. Bad.
Below average. I mean, as the season went on, he got better.
Yeah, excuse me, but the base was so low. I mean, he had a bad season.
He's got to be better next year.
Cashman blew that one. I mean, that was. Yeah.
That was their number. That was when the season ended. He was the guy.
Right.
But you're 1 year into 5.
Okay,
so
we'll see.
when we sit here next year, if he hit 25 and drove in 90,
Yeah, okay.
then
We'll take it.
it's not a bad deal.
Okay.
If he hits 16 and drove in 63,
We fly planes over the stadium calling for Cashman's resignation.
you can pay.
I'll do it.
Okay.
And
I'll
we
fly the
can-
plane. You can pay.
Right, and we'll get it at Lincoln Park Airport. Okay. First base, forget it.
Well, it's been 2 years now, and it's a risk deal, and
He's Texas done. No?
he better not be done because
He's still a good fielder, but come on, can he pop?
he's a middle of the order hitter in his mind who's
He
been
ain't.
compromised by a wrist problem.
No.
Those
He's
days
a
might
fifth
be
or
over.
sixth.
Those days might be over.
Sixth. I think they are. I think they've been over for a while. Hopefully
If he
not.
stays on the field,
Hopefully
he's got to
not.
produce.
Okay, now we're talking about a vast wasteland. Second, short, third. I mean, you could have the worst infield overall in the major leagues.
So I think
65 to 68, Haas, Clark. I don't know. Talk to me.
I think Headley is above average third baseman, who has had some back problems, was not bothered by the back, or it didn't affect him at least last year when he became a Yankee. I think that they're fine there. They probably
Yeah, but
overpaid
Did they
for
get
him.
enough pop out of third base because they don't have any pop anywhere else?
The pop thing is you're supposed to get that out of first, DH, and right field.
Excuse me.
So we haven't even addressed right field yet.
Forget it.
So I think they're okay at third. Defensively, everybody thinks they're okay at short. Will he hit? I don't know. And
Gregorius.
And second base, right now, they're telling us they're going with chance with 2 kids that they've got 7 big league games between them, and they all belong to Jose Perella.
So the up the middle is we have no clue, basically? I mean, that's what you're telling me.
You would think they have a clue. You and I sitting here in Christmas,
Wait a second.
we don't have a clue because I've never seen Gregorius play, or I wouldn't know Jeff Schneider if he was working the camera.
Hopefully they have a much better clue than we do. And if you don't, I mean, forget it. Okay. Outfield, left field.
I like him. He's a good player.
Yeah.
I mean, Gardner's a very good player.
Yeah.
Is he an all-star player? No,
No.
not yet.
No.
He could be an
mean,
all-star.
Nah,
But
maybe.
you can win with him, and you can
Yeah,
win with
in that position.
and you can win with Ellsbury too. The problem becomes, right field is supposed to hit 25 home runs.
Right.
Because
and that
the
was
other
supposed to be Beltran.
the other 2 are going to combine for 20.
No pop.
Well,
no pop.
You used the word done on Teixeira. I don't think Teixeira is completely done. I think Beltran is closer to being done than Teixeira.
Well, even if Teixeira's at the top of his game, take his best numbers. They still have no pop.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. They're terrible.
Offensively, from a pop standpoint,
They suck.
they're short.
They're terrible.
Yeah, they're not good.
They're bad. Okay, let's look at it a different way. Let's look at lineup.
Well, let's look at the pitching first.
Oh, yeah, no, I want to say, okay, let's do pitching.
Well, that's the biggest question.
Excuse
Forget the
me.
9 guys we just talked about.
Forget it.
The CC's got an issue with his knee. Tanaka's got an issue with his elbow.
There's your 2 aces. Go ahead.
Nova's not back until June or July.
Right.
Pineda might be the dumbest guy in the world. And
Take the might away.
the kid they got from Marlins Valde, we don't know. He's 15 and 35 in 4 years.
He's a 3 or 4 at best.
They traded Shane Green for the shortstop, which you have to give to get. I understand that. I like Brian Mitchell.
No, I think
Yeah.
I think both of those moves are good moves.
And if they make a mistake and put Warren in the rotation, he'll be in there too.
Wait a second. They could sign me and you. No.
Well, me maybe, but
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We're going to have a throwing contest. Wait a second. They can't win. So they have no pop and extraordinarily questionable pitching. Let's say Tanaka does.
well,
He's healed. He's a number one.
if Tanaka is what Tanaka was for the first 3
He
months,
can
last year,
carry them.
that's a Pedro guy.
No, I agree.
That's a guy that you have to beat on
I
Friday
agree.
because they know he's pitching on Saturday.
That's exactly right. Now the key then
Can
is
3 ifs? Can Sabathia if? Can
Right.
Nova if?
Right.
Can Pineda if?
there's no evidence on Sabathia
mean-
either way.
Yeah, you're not going to know Sabathia until.
And I got to tell you, I think he's done.
Well, you're not alone.
No, this is not a brilliant insight. I
No.
think he's
Well,
done. So if he's done, the Yankees are done. They're done.
But they hadn't have him. He only pitched till May last year, and they were
Yeah,
still
but I
hung
know
around.
I understand that. But even if Tanaka starts every fifth day,
Well,
what do you got?
What if Sabathia is just okay? So let's say he gives you 30 starts,
well, okay, then he's eating up innings.
but he's only 9 and 11
I'll take him.
with a 5.
I'll take him.
Yeah, I mean,
Eating up innings, you don't get into the bullpen that we don't know anything about.
the bullpen. I think
Yeah.
outside of 9th inning, which I know is the 9th inning.
Okay.
But Betances and
Okay.
Johnson.
Okay. I mean, this
Miller.
is real. This is really giving me a headache. So the 2015 Yankees are terrible. Likely to be terrible.
They're going to be challenged to win 85 games.
Oh man, you're being generous.
Challenged to win 85. They won 85.
Okay.
games last
Okay.
year. And again,
Yeah. The question is, are they any better than they were last year?
that's a great question. I mean, they lost their closer,
Yeah.
and they've lost believe me, there was nothing. Brian Robertson, Stephen Drew.
Oh,
did
well,
nothing
that
in second
didn't matter. The only thing that mattered was Robertson.
Right. So we also have to think, and this is the Yankees, it's December. Call on July 31st. What moves did they make? Where they made the moves?
Yeah.
Last year, you couldn't. I mean, Martin Prado and Stephen Drew on July 31st gave everybody, and the people are lying if they say they weren't. Everybody was encouraged that this team was going to get better. They had McCarthy for 2 weeks
Right.
before that.
Right.
This team was going to get better.
Yeah, but come on.
It's-
You knew different. We talked in Tony's service station, and you were saying no,
It came down to the pitching didn't stay healthy,
at all,
and-
and they didn't hit.
and Pineda got suspended, then he got hurt.
Yeah,
And
he's really. I mean, he's really a problem.
I mean, the problem is he's their best pitcher today, 2 days before Christmas.
Thank you.
He's
Thank
their
you.
best pitcher.
Thank you. So I should forget this season, really.
Just quit. Go
Really?
to that farmhouse that you have no cell phone service and just stay.
I'm telling you. But I mean, I don't mind rooting for the Mets, but again, what did the Mets got?
They're a little younger and a little more on the move, so
Yeah,
people are going to fall in love with it.
Yeah, the pitching could be, if they can put their pitching together.
There's that word again.
Pitching.
If.
Oh, if. I know, please. If.
There
Well,
is-
it's all if.
It's all if.
It's all if.
Everything's
But-
if.
Yeah, but excuse me. As my father-in-law used to say, if toads had wings, they wouldn't be bumping their butts on the ground. I mean, I know the ifs don't come out.
But if becomes fact at the end of the year.
Oh.
If Ref Snyder hits 300. If Gregorius hits 250 and plays great defense. But how many ifs have to become facts? It's positive.
Right,
You don't know.
right,
You can't have 10 ifs and all of them become positive.
right. Well, this is a mathematical probability issue that we multiply. Yeah, virtually zero.
Right. I mean, if you have 10 ifs and 3 become positive, 3 become negative, and 4 are just okay, did you win?
No, you're screwed.
Too many ifs.
Who wins the American League East?
That's working in the Yankee favor, too.
Yeah,
Because there's questions up and down.
totally.
Boston's
they lost.
pitching is short.
They lost Lester. Go ahead.
Baltimore, Markakis, Cruz,
They're gone.
and Miller, they're gone.
And Miller, right?
They're getting Wieters and Machado and
Nah.
Davis back. That's big three. That's 3 big bats, but they're not. The pitching is short. Tampa Bay quit. I don't know what happened there. They traded Price and they haven't done a thing since.
What? They're just selling off.
And Toronto,
Eh.
Do you like Toronto?
No.
They're okay.
Yeah, but there's
They made a
no
good trade.
excitement.
They made
Yeah,
a
but
good
I mean,
trade,
please.
Donaldson
Okay.
for Lowry.
I mean,
So who's the favorite? You'd have to say.
okay. Go ahead. Who do you say?
I would say Toronto.
Mm,
I would say Toronto.
I was going to say Boston.
I don't like that pitching staff.
I don't either.
I mean, there's more.
Yeah, but ours is but theirs is almost as bad or
There's as
worse.
many questions there.
Yeah,
as there
that's
is,
true.
you
That's
know.
true. Yeah, you got to go the team that you see with the strongest pitching. Okay, predictions. American League champ. You were off on your predictions last year, so it doesn't matter. So was I.
Who do they pick?
Detroit and Cardinals, which were reasonable. Go ahead.
American League champ this coming season. I'm going to say Detroit Tigers because they're going to. I'm guessing they're going to re-sign Scherzer.
Yeah.
I'll say the Tigers again.
Yeah, I go ahead. National League.
I'm going to have to say stay with the Cardinals. They made a great pickup in Justin Hayward. That's a terrific player.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I mean, they're chalk picks. I mean, you probably get 2-1 on both of them.
Right.
The San Francisco Giants are a wonderful story, 3 in 5 years.
It ain't happening.
I hope they prove me wrong again because
Right.
they're great guys that run it.
Yeah.
But you going to pick them?
No.
You going to pick them?
No.
The Cubs?
Yes.
You gotta
I'm
pick the
rooting for.
Cubs.
I'm going to become a Chicago Cub fan. I really am. I'm rooting for the Cubs.
Good.
No.
Your heart will be broke again.
Yeah, but it's better than being ticked off at the Yankees for the entire season. I can't switch. Okay, stop. My thanks to New York Post sports writer George King III for giving us some hope for the future of the Yankees. Nah, not much hope. See you next week here on CUNY TV. I'm Doug Muzzio. Let us know what you think about this show. You can reach us at CUNY.TV. When you get there, click on the bar that says Contact Us and send your email. Whatever it is. Thanks, no thanks, obnoxious, do it. Send it.